So going back a few years now, 2008 perhaps, we had Stanislav Grof in Australia, and I attended one of his intensives, a number of days, and it was holotropic breath work. My intention was to explore what my spiritual purpose was, how I could aid the work for Australia, for KH College in Australia that we were hoping to found at that point. And so I was in the middle of this meditation. So you may be familiar with holotropic breath work, and some of it is extremely useful for psychotherapeutic, with proper guidance obviously, but also for spiritual purposes. Well, in the midst of that, there were some incredible experiences of having remembered past lives, of being on the banks of the Ganges as an Indian woman, of seeing an incredible yogi, dancing, an very old guy, obviously a yogi, and he was dancing with his flute and his cobra and what have you, and smiling and laughing. And I saw a lovely female version, yogi, young one, dancing on this path of fire. So everything happened on the path of fire. So I found myself then more and more traveling along it, and there was this incredible dancing process, being drawn closer, and there were some experiences in that in which I realized that karma in a way doesn't really exist, that everything is just fire and everything is one. And so in a way karma is just a way of learning, getting somewhere along that path in order to realize that we're all one. So I continued along the path, obviously being pulled along by this incredible energy of waves and waves of incredible color breaking over my mind, and incredibly joyous experience. And I found myself moving further and further along the path until I came towards what looked like the wheel of Shiva, and I could see this incredible dancing in the middle of the ring, and I was pulled along further and further into that, only to find that all the fiery ring was so incredibly etched in my mind at the time as well. Now I could see the rosettes, if you like, at the intersections of the fire at each edge of the ring, and I could go through the fire and this other ring and end up in space again, with the whole idea of the concept of the worlds are created by thought, worlds are created by mind, worlds are created from our capacity to draw mental energy into a refined state with quality attached to it. In other words, to be able to build vibrationally from love, from compassion, from care, from all these things, to create forms. So the whole thing of creation of worlds came with that, with incredible geometry. So on this path of fire that all of us will one day tread, there are meditators, groups of souls whose work is related to many fields, but in this particular case, as you'll see in the Thangka here, we have a group that is looking after the planetary welfare. So here we have a number of, it's more of a synthetic group that represents many disciplines. And so that if you imagine that group of meditators are sitting symbolically on a black granite looking disc in space. So in the center of that void is the planet Earth, kind of hovering, like a hologram in front of them. And they're able to see this whole planetary evolutionary process. And in that field, they're able to observe human development to do with everything from psychology to medicine to health to creative arts to it's all there. It's all there. and it's their job to inspire, to work with the leaders of the race, really, of humanity, in the different disciplines. So just remember that around the world there are advanced, wonderful souls who have a leading edge role in some field which is incredibly valuable to humanity as a whole, not just themselves, because they're not even interested in themselves usually at all, or hardly at all, and they're basically interested in working in collaboration with medicine, for instance, on global levels. So please give them help and aid.